funny.
It's a
I
great
kind of
way.
relate to Lex the most, so I don't think of him as that evil. I just think he's doing his thing. He's not too nice to the dog, you know. And that would never be me because I'm an animal lover. But I think that he's, I can't say I like Lex. I get him.
Mr. James Gunn, it's such an honor to get to sit down and chat with you on behalf of IMAX. Superman is incredible. It really is something that I think is going to be a force for fans in IMAX. Could you talk about the decision to make Superman filmed for IMAX?
I mean, listen, I've had a great relationship with IMAX over the years, going back to Guardians of the Galaxy, my first, big film. And I thought that, there's something about Superman, about this beautiful, colorful figure being able to fly in the sky. And we shot scenes of flight like have never been shot before. And to put that on film, it seemed like the perfect place to see that and experience that is IMAX.
In what ways, and I've heard you talk a little bit about this, but if you'd be willing to expand on it, in what ways did you pay homage to Superman films of the past when crafting the characters in this Superman film?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I obviously was inspired by, the color and the beauty of Richard Donner's original film. And that spoke to me, the sort of good-natured playfulness of Christopher Reeve's version of Superman. But more than anything else, I think that it was trying to take from the comic book artists and creators who created Superman for the page, and truly, for the first time in my life, trying to create a comic book come to life with everything that entails. And doing that in a way that is, a total homage to Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who created Superman, and all the great artists of the past, from Kurt Swan to John Byrne to Frank Quitely to all of them. And so I think that it was trying to really mimic a graphic novel on screen in a way that has never been done before.
And I think it comes across, your attention to detail, the way that you made it and put it on film. I mean, now hearing that, it makes total sense because you achieved that. Music has always been a big part of your films, clearly.
Yeah.
I think something that was so powerful about this movie was that iconic Superman tune.
Yeah.
And you could tell it almost felt like its own character. I mean, the way that it inspired hope at the right moments. Could you talk about that relationship and your relationship to music and why that was such an important part of the film?
Well, when I was a kid and I saw Donner's Superman, like, the thing that I loved more than any other was, like, that is the greatest musical score I ever heard. And in fact, it's kind of the dragon I chase when I try to find a great theme for a music in a film, which I've only been able to really, hit home with songs in the past and song selection. But on this movie, the score became the most important piece of a driving force within the movie, and like another character within the film. And the music is, created by Dave Fleming and John Murphy, but it also takes John Williams' score and recreates it at times, but also breaks it down and uses different parts of it in different ways, and reconstructs and deconstructs the Williams score around Superman as we learn he is in this film.
Could you talk about the performances of your cast? I mean, I think they were incredible, and your attention to detail and building characters that audiences relate to, I think, is one of your superpowers. And it shows through in this film, times a million. And so could you talk about the performances of Rachel and David and Nicholas Hoult, and just how they really became those iconic characters?
Yeah, I think that I really wanted to stay true to the characters of Superman and Lois and Lex and all the characters as I knew them. Just go a little deeper into their characters and who they are and what drives them. Superman is still Superman. He's still this smiley, good-natured, wonderfully kind man. But we also see his flaws. He's a little bit stubborn. He's a little bit silly at times. He's self-righteous a little bit. And I wanted to really go deep into who these characters were. Lois Lane is incredibly intelligent, so intelligent you can see why the Man of Steel loves this woman. She's the strong one in the relationship in many ways, and how intrepid she is, and how forthright she is, but almost again to a fault. Her pragmatism is almost to a fault. She's lost any sense of idealism whatsoever. She's lost, and with that comes a loss of belief in magic or love, and so she's finding that in the movie. And then Lex, you have to find a way. There's supervillains, and you want to find a way that a reason why he's a villain, And I think you see that Nick just portrays Lex's envy on such an incredibly deep way. It's just wonderful to see him on screen, what he's doing, and at times almost going, "Oh yeah, Lex, I kind of see what you're talking about," and then he does something terrible, and you go, "No, screw you."
I think. I mean, Lex was particularly evil in a way that, like, kudos to you. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Lex Luthor be as evil as the way that you put him on.
Yeah,
this
it's
film.
funny.
It's a
I
great
kind of
way.
relate to Lex the most, so I don't think of him as that evil. I just think he's doing his thing. He's not too nice to the dog, but and that would never be me because I'm an animal lover. But I think that he's, I can't say I like Lex. I get him.
Yeah. I mean, great character. Also, Crypto. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
the
Crypto's.
best.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's just Crypto's a dog finally. But he's never really. I mean, like that's one of the joys of making this movie is putting all these elements in there that we've never seen in a Superman film, And these are all elements that were in the comic books when I was 3 and 4 years old and started reading comics for the first time. Flying dogs and robots and castles that erupt from the earth and kaiju and crazy inventions that are so insane they almost seem like sorcery. That is what I grew up with in DC Comics, and so I'm trying to bring that to a world filled with superheroes. He's not the only one. Those are the things that were always in the comics that I grew up on. So bringing them to the screen, if they're just a normal part of the DCU, was a lot of fun.
Well, I think that was something that was so good with this film as well, was it's a brilliant standalone film from start to finish, and I think you get everything you want out of that. But I think something that stood out to me was how you masterfully built up the DC universe throughout, but in like the perfect way.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that balance and how you approached that?
Well, really, honestly, it's not much of a balance because everything I'm thinking about is what is best for this film, first and foremost. And part of what I wanted to do was to see Superman in a world of metahumans and superheroes and supervillains and monsters. And so I'm just creating that world. I'm fortunate in that it pertains to other parts, other stories, other parts of the DCU. But the reason it exists first and foremost is this movie. And one of the things that Peter and I are doing with the DCU is not every movie will have that same tone. This movie has its singular voice that belongs to it. And other things may be a little bit different, even though the characters are connected through story.
Why do you want fans specifically to experience Superman in IMAX?
I think that the thing that's making me so happy is people keep seeing the movie for the first time or just showing the very first audiences who have ever seen a finished version of this movie. And they talk about the joy it brings them and the joy that they feel when they walk out of the theater. For me, I don't know about other filmmakers, for me, I don't think there's anything better that I can do for an audience than to give them that happy movie feeling that you get. And people who have seen movies and been happy afterwards know what I'm talking about. As you walk out of the theater and you love the person who sat next to you through that movie a little bit more than you loved them before you walked in. And to give people that joyful, happy feeling in a time when we really need it in an IMAX theater where everything is amplified and the joy is amplified and the magic is amplified and the action is amplified. boy, that's a great thing.
And it's incredible, and kudos to you, sir. Thank you, because I do think those are the types of communal experiences we all need more of, and it does an amazing job at giving the audience hope, happiness, and excitement for the future of the DCU. So thank you so much, Mr. Gunn.
Thank you.
And everybody should go see Superman in IMAX.